for today. The guest is Jeff Carr, and I often say Jay because I generally called him JCarr, but the guest is Jeff Carr, and the issue is his participation in activities dealing with African American theater in Nashville. And of course, Jeff, let's see if we can pick up where we left off the last time and have you to talk about art in a real sense in Nashville, Tennessee, and some of the other things that you have encountered in all of your wide range of experiences outside of Nashville.
Yeah. Doc, a lot of people look at Nashville and they say, why Nashville? And frankly, it started when I was at Tennessee State. There were people who were fellow students and peripheral members of the community who saw some of the things that we did at TSU, saw some of the student leadership activities we partook in, saw some of the initiatives that we launched, and I would consistently get the same thing. They said, oh man, you're real good. You need to get out of Nashville. And so
you can't be good in Nashville.
Right. that was the growing so-called wisdom that you got to get out of Nashville. You need to be in LA, you need to be in New York, you need to be in DC, you need to be in Chicago, where things are really happening. And so we would get that a lot. I would get that a lot. And so I worked in Nashville for a while, doing everything from, I have a background in community organizing, and of course film and television and theater and music and that kind of thing. But there was something about the draw as a young man to New York that I always had. It's that notion of if I can make it there, I can make it anywhere. And I took off and went there, and again was almost there, almost 3 years, and found that not only was I able to work in New York, but I was able to work all over the place from being in New York. And I was able to pull those experiences together into a body of work that was impressive to some, but was still just a learning experience for me. And so at that point, I said, the only way Nashville is going to be a place where people eventually want to come to is if we go back and create the kind of institutions that I always wanted to have here as a young man. And so that's why I came back. My father and my mother were aging also. I had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with my dad, even more time with my dad, rest his soul. He passed in 2001. But being able to be in close proximity to family and friends was important, but also to establish the cultural things that I needed to establish here so that another generation would not be told, you got to get out of Nashville. The Nashville tradition is such that if we don't remember it, we don't value all of the incredible things that happen right here in Nashville. I wrote a play a few years ago called Ordinary Heroes, and it explored Dr. Lawson and the whole history of the sit-in movement here in the late 50s and early 60s, as you well know much better than me. But that movement started here, and the Diane Nashes and the C.T. Vivians and all of the students from Fisk and TSU that did all of that they did here in this community was amazing. And I found that as we did that play at Fisk Memorial Chapel, a whole generation of young people didn't even know the story. They had no idea. And so I was sitting in the back of the audience one day in the chapel, and there was a picture of the state capitol, and there was a policeman dragging a young black man down the middle of, I guess it was Dedrick Street. And one of the kids said, hey man, that's down by the bus shelter. I leaned forward, I said, yeah, that's where it is. And after the show, he was so shocked that every day he waits on the bus on the corner there, and he had no idea that 30 years ago, somebody like him would have been dragged up and down that street. And it gave him a new appreciation. So that's what informed and confirmed for me the work that I was doing and its importance, because art can do that. There are some kids who might not pick up a book. They might not be blessed to sit in a class with Dr. Haney. We might not be able to get them to that point, but they'll see something on TV, they'll see something, they'll hear something in some music, they'll see something visually that will arrest them and arrest something inside of them and make them want to be a part of a greater story. And that's where it came as affirmation to me that we were doing the right thing. And that's the power of art. And the tradition is here. Music City is Music City. because of the Fifth Jubilee Singers traveling around and taking the music of the Negro spiritual to the world. The artistic kind of tradition goes from Oprah Winfrey, Moses Gunn, dating back to even the 40s, with Dr. Thomas E. Pogue at Tennessee State University, taking students all over the world. This tradition is a powerful tradition, and we stand on the shoulders of those giants who have come before us. So we keep pressing in those areas, and we're going to be successful at turning some things around here.
Jeff, now you've been in